today's presentation is going to be about the 3 strategies that helped me earn a full ride scholarship. So, you know the drill. In this presentation, I'm going to start off sharing my experiences, my own sort of journey, and then I'm going to draw parallels from that so that you as a parent can see how each of these strategies can be applied to your own household, to your own student situation, so that you can go ahead and emulate whatever you can. And hopefully you too can also go ahead and help your student earn a full ride scholarship. Everything that I mentioned today and that we covered today is going to be just a slight, tiny little part of what is our free training of our 6 tips to help your student get accepted to college with scholarships. So if you click the link below, you're going to be able to sign up for that. You can go ahead and click that link, open up a second window, reserve your spot while you're listening to this conversation. It would be a good use of your time to go ahead and check that out. Without further ado, here are the 3 strategies that helped me earn a full ride scholarship. Let's get started. So, the first thing that helped me get a full ride scholarship is that I started the process early. And what I mean by this is that I finalized my college list. It was 12 schools, I believe, the summer before I started my 12th grade. Now, why is it important to start early or to finish early? Well, there's a multiple reasons why that helped me get a full ride scholarship. So first is because as I took advantage of early action and early decision, not only was I increasing my odds of being accepted, because as we teach our students inside Best College Aid, and as you can learn in the presentation that we have in the video description, when you apply early, odds are that the acceptance possibilities that your student has go up, simply because the acceptance rate for early applications is higher than the overall school's acceptance rate. Now, that's not the case for all schools, but for most schools, yes, applying early tends to have a higher percentage, a higher acceptance rate. And that's simply because it shows the university that you are committed and that you are interested in, attending that institution. And demonstrated interest, as we have talked about in previous live streams, is a big key. It's something that colleges care about and look at. So that demonstrated interest is part of the reason why college tours are important, why, sending letters of interest, or like when you're going with a coach, why visits are so important. So yeah, by applying early, you demonstrate interest. Now, by applying early, you get your acceptance letter and your financial aid award earlier than had you been applying on the regular decision. And by having that in your hands early on, so in my case, I applied to UNC Chapel Hill before the October 15th early action deadline, which meant that by December, I knew that I had gotten accepted. And because I had that acceptance letter at UNC Chapel Hill with a financial aid package attached to it, I was able to see, okay, UNC Chapel Hill is offering me this amount of money for this amount of time, and that is the bare minimum of what the other schools have to meet for me to even consider them, because UNC was already at top of my list. So what would have happened had I not been accepted to UNC? Well, because it was still December when those decisions came out, I would have had to pivot. I would have had to say, okay, I wasn't accepted, I didn't receive this amount of money, but it's still December, so I still have all of the regular decision deadlines that are on January 1st, January 7th, January 15th, late January. So by applying early, you allow yourself some breathing room to go ahead and compare the financial aid awards that you receive, and to pivot if you have to, and change your plan if you have to, and apply to schools that you would have otherwise not maybe applied have you not gotten the financial aid that you're supposed to receive. So that's the first way. And then the second way that starting the process early helped me and can help your student is that if your student applies early and consequentially goes ahead and gets accepted early, by knowing by December, the time that you would have otherwise spent applying to other schools, stressing out about, any other type of application that you had to submit, you can now spend applying for private scholarships. So your student can take advantage of the fact that they have learned the college's decision early on and use that to apply to private scholarships. So in my case, because I knew by December of 2017 that I was going to go to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, I spent the second semester of my senior year applying for private scholarships. And the case for me and my brother David, we both received private scholarships. In my case, it was from Comcast, and we're going to talk a little bit more about extracurriculars and other stuff that is relevant when applying to private scholarships. So that was the first strategy that I implemented. The second strategy was participating in extracurricular activities. Obviously, we know that extracurricular activities are important for getting accepted. However, in terms of aiming at a full ride scholarship or increasing the amount of institutional aid that you receive, well, extracurricular activities do matter and do count towards the money that you're eligible to receive. In my case, I was involved in student government, and I started being involved in student government starting sophomore year. I was the president of my class, and then I was also a swimmer my entire life. If you tune into the live streams every week, you'll know that all the Cantus, we were swimmers. And apart from that, I was also involved in NHS, in debate, but I did all of these activities, if not 4 years of high school, definitely 3 years. So I did them for a long time. And why am I sharing this with you? What does that have to do with the topic of the presentation, which is getting full rides? Well, I briefly mentioned earlier that I was able to focus on private scholarships the second half of my senior year of high school. And the private scholarships that I applied to were based on leadership that I earned through these extracurricular activities. So in my case, extracurricular activities translated to being eligible for leadership scholarships. Now I want to turn it on to you, the viewer, the parent. If your student is participating in theater, plays a musical instrument, debate, insert whatever extracurricular activity you can possibly imagine. If your student is participating in that activity, yes, it is beneficial for increasing odds of acceptance into a university. However, the reason why that is important in the sense of paying for college is that it automatically qualifies them or makes them eligible for a number of private scholarships whose prerequisite could be, to qualify for this private scholarship, you have to play a musical instrument, or you have to be in the debate club. Any sort of extracurricular activity that you can think of has a private scholarship attached to it. And in the training, which I very much encourage you all to register for, again, we elaborate on how you can find these private scholarships. So just to finish up this second point, when discussing the impact of extracurricular activities, duration and leadership, super important elements that you as a parent need to encourage your student to pursue and to demonstrate. So yeah, that was the second strategy. And the third and final is to work as a team with my parents. Now, this might be super relevant, or I'm willing to bet this is super relevant to all the parents here, because it's something that many times is underestimated, the importance of having that clear channel of communication with the parents. I would say out of the three strategies, out of anything, having that relationship with my mom and my dad of being able to divide and conquer certain activities of the college application process were what made me earn that private scholarship. So there's a couple of points that I want to hit with the concept of working as a team with your parents, or if you're a parent with your students. And the first one is that they helped me choose universities. I'm not saying that my parents went ahead and say you have to apply here, and here, and I'll apply there. No, that's not how it went. In my case, my parents served as a different perspective. My parents researched enough to know the importance of finding a generous school, because not all schools are equally as generous. Not all schools provide the same amount of education of institutional financial aid. So because my parents knew that, they offered this perspective when I was making my college list and said, okay, are the schools that you're applying to generous? Are the schools that you're applying to offering the majors or the career paths that you're interested in studying? Things that I had not considered by myself, and had I been alone without this team with my parents, I wouldn't have even thought about considering. So again, my parents' input of what variables and what elements of a school, specifically generosity and academic programs offered, are important, very much helped me consider and make the right choice when it came to picking out my college list. Then the second reason, and a little bit more technical reason, why working as a team with parents is so important is because there are financial forms such as the FAFSA and the CSS profile that must be filled out before every year that the student is going to go to college. All these forms seemed a little bit daunting to me. I'm not saying that a student can't do them, they definitely can, but having the support to even find those tax documents is super crucial for a student to complete these forms on time, because again, as we've talked about in previous lives, and as you'll learn when you register for the free training, the FAFSA and CSS profile, the benefits that you reap from them are on a first come first serve basis. So having direct access to, again, forms like the tax returns and whatnot is crucial to be able to fill out these forms in a timely manner. So having their support with filling out this documentation or getting access to the documents needed to fill out this documentation was crucial for me to apply to everything on time and for everything to be filled out in a timely fashion. So yeah, that was the final strategy, the final element that makes up the list of the three strategies that helped me go to UNC Chapel Hill with a full ride scholarship. Starting the process early, taking advantage of those early deadlines. In my case, for UNC Chapel Hill, early action increased my odds of acceptance and then gave me time to focus on private scholarships. Then the second would be to focus on extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities not only increase the competitiveness of a student's application, but it also allows and enables them to qualify for private scholarships or institutional scholarships even. And then the final one is to go ahead and, if you're a parent, make a team with your students and know that they can count on you for support when it comes to picking out a list of colleges, filling out those financial forms, and negotiating a school. So I want to go ahead and invite you once again, if you have not already done so, to go ahead and register for the free training. Again, we prepared this free training with the 6 tips to help your student get accepted to college with scholarships based on the experiences that my siblings and I went through. Again, the whole reason why we do this is because throughout our years and as a family, my siblings and I accumulated over $500,000 in financial aid and scholarships for college, and it enabled us to graduate receiving a full ride each. So we believe in giving back, and we believe that there's a lot of value in sharing. Check out the free webinar, and thank you so much for letting me into your homes through your screens. I really appreciate it, and I hope y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.